Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Holistic Healing Network. I am your hostess, Leah Petrucci, licensed mental health counselor and holistic health and spiritual wellness coach, as well as narcissistic recovery coach. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about frequently asked questions that I get in my coaching and counseling practices in regards to how do you spot a narcissist. That's probably the top out of 10 questions that I get. That's probably the one that I get the most is, well, how do you spot them? What do they look like? What do they do? How do they behave? So I'm going to start with how they behave in early dating, because that's going to look very differently from how they change over into their true self after basically the honeymoon, or what's called the love bombing stage, is over, and the narcissistic person, male or female, starts to be who they truly are, and stops being the love bomby person they were in early dating. So what does that look like, and what the heck is love bombing? Well, it's a common term I'm sure a lot of you have seen on the internet, but I want to make sure that you have the right information on what that really is referring to. So love bombing is something you will commonly see with a narcissistic person in early dating. So it's like a honeymoon stage, but over the top. A honeymoon stage is kind of a normal thing that couples go through in the beginning that tends to fade off after, I don't know, a few months, maybe after the first year. It just depends. With a narcissistic person, that honeymoon phase, or the love bombing, which is extreme honeymoon phase, is over fairly quickly, usually within a few months. However, I have heard of cases where the narcissistic person has been able to keep that act going for a year, sometimes more. But what that typically looks like is love bombing is just when they shower you with gifts in the beginning, shower you with praise and with compliments, and oh, you look so beautiful, and you're this and you're that, and take you on these trips in the beginning, and just really just overdoes it. Even with your family and your friends, they want to meet your family and your friends early because they want to love bomb them too. They want to impress them, therefore impressing you. And women really fall for this one in the case of a male narcissist, where he wants to meet the family early, or he wants you to meet his family early, and then he just really treats his mother really well because he knows that that's going to impress the ladies, is how he treats his mother. So he's on his best behavior, and he usually preps the mother too to be on her best behavior when meeting a partner in early relationships and early dating. So that's what love bombing looks like. It's just over the top, and of course, it feels good. So in early dating, we kind of expect that kind of behavior. So we think it's normal. We think really not much of it. Until things like rapidly, or sometimes, as I said earlier, they can keep the act going, but typically it's rapidly stops doing that behavior. If you move in together, that behavior usually stops quickly. If you get married, you have a baby, those things usually stop pretty quickly because they've reached their goal. They've reached what they want to, basically the finish line of what they want to get out of the relationship. But I digress. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Going back to early dating, what are some other behaviors that you may see? You may hear what's called future faking. And that is a term used to describe when the narcissistic person really just talks about what the future is going to be like, and they just paint this amazing picture, and we're going to do this, and we're going to go to Paris, and I'm going to help you get your medical degree, and we'll get married, and we'll have kids, and we'll just live this fantasy life. And they paint these pictures of what it's going to look like in the future. And of course, most people love that. Most people love the idea of fantasizing about this amazing future together. So that's why it really works. Let's see, what's something else that happens. And I actually created a relationships red flags checklist that you can check out. It's free. I will include that link below if you'd like to get the entire checklist. It's 10 things. And I'm always looking to add things. If you have anything on there that I didn't put, that it was within your experience with a narcissistic person in early dating, please include it in the comments and I can add it to the list. But let's see. Yes, they want to meet your family and friends early. They want to really impress, the heck out of them. They may talk about like how badly they've had it in their past. They may kind of paint this picture that they're this victim, that they've been through all of these traumatic things in the past, including that they've had these crazy ex-partners in the past. My ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, in whatever the case may be, cheated on me or beat me or abused me. And so they paint this picture that they just really were with this horrible person. And that's a manipulative tactic to get you to feel pity. And they really do go for the empathic people. And we'll talk about that in a future video of what types of people are narcissist magnets per se. But basically very giving, empathic people that are going to feel sorry for them. Oh gosh, I just feel really bad for that girl and how she treated you, and she was crazy, but I'm not going to do that, baby. I'm going to treat you really good. That's what they're going for, and it works. That's the pity that they're trying to get from you. And they may also try to paint a picture of how many times that they got a bum rap, in their past at work or in the family or things of that nature. And again, it's meant to create pity. They may say things like, I've never felt this way before, and I've never met anyone quite like you, and you just make me feel so blah, blah, blank, blank, blank. And they may talk about how they're falling in love with you, or they may straight up tell you they love you very early on. And you may feel it too, because you get this feeling that they know you, they get you, they're your soulmate, they're your twin flame, or that's how you may feel, because they are so good at manipulating you to make you feel that way. And they are also really good at listening in the beginning. They're good at listening to what you say, because they're collecting information on and how to manipulate you down the road. They are listening to you talk about how badly your ex treated you. And they're getting that information that they can then turn around and use. They can, first of all, do those things for you, the things that your ex didn't do. They'll start doing those things for you, so you'll just be swooned over it. Oh my gosh, well, so-and-so didn't do this for me, and this guy or girl is doing this and then some, and just really gets me. And so he or she is super honed in on what you're saying and listening to you in the beginning. So that's why it's confusing when they start changing that tune and then start appearing very insensitive. It just doesn't match the person that they portray to be in the beginning. And it is just that. It is a portrayal. It is an act. It is a manipulation. It is a show. As painful as that is to hear and to say that, I've been there. I've been there many times. I'll share my personal testimony in a future video, but I know what that feels like. it doesn't feel good. And it's very confusing of, well, wait a minute, this person was so very different than he was, I don't know, 6 months, not even 4 months into the relationship. Just starting to change personality into someone that he wasn't being before. So, maybe he's having a bad day, maybe he's stressed at work, or, making all these excuses for them. And no, it's just the reality of it, is that they know what they're doing, and how to pick vulnerable people, typically codependent, vulnerable, empathic giving people that are going to fall for their act, and they're very good at it. They're very good at it. As I said, I've been through it. I've been fooled, and at the time I was an intern. I was a therapist. I was very green, but I didn't see it. And I'll tell this story in a future video. So you'll definitely want to hear these testimonies. They're doozies. But I fully can admit and see how manipulative narcissistic people are, and how they can really fool even educated and somewhat educated. I wasn't educated at that time like I am now, because I dedicated many years of study on my own to find out about narcissism after it happened to me. But at the time, I did not know all there was to know, and believe me, there's a lot to know. So let's wrap up that first question of what does a narcissistic person look like in early dating. And stay tuned. I will talk about what narcissism looks like after the love bombing phase has worn off. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned.